Now, from Into Tomorrow, this is an ITTV special report.
Welcome back to the Intel exhibit at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, talking to as many people as we can. Huge show, lots of excitement. Everybody's having, go figure, fun at the Game Developers Conference. Our next guest wants you to enjoy the second generation Intel Core processor family. Lots of buzz here in the Intel exhibit, certainly about that. Public Relations Manager for Intel is Dan Snyder. Dan, welcome back Into Tomorrow. How you doing?
Great. Good to see you guys again.
Nice to see you as well. We always manage to catch up around the world as we're traveling and find out what's new and exciting. So right out of the box, and I know you're going to be talking, among other things, about Thunderbolt, and as fast as we can get into that, pun intended, about Thunderbolt. But otherwise, what's new with Intel these days?
So since we last talked, we've obviously launched our second generation Core product family. So a lot of people excited about that. And that brings graphics to a whole new level for CPU graphics. So we're not intending to compete with the high-end $500 NVIDIA graphics cards, but for what most people do on gaming, Farmville, the dreaded Farmville.
Yes, yeah, Chris, are you listening? All of his crops died on the trip out here, so he's upset.
For a lot of those games, and we're showing tons of mainstream games here in the booth. You know, StarCraft 2 and tons of new EA Sega titles that look great on these new parts. And
that's what's really neat, is because first of all, you mentioned the things that I think many more general public folks, you know, if you will, us common people, would take advantage of with gaming and processing and the things we need. Hardcore gamers, of course, they're doing their thing. They're building their machines. We'll talk more about that on the show later on.
There's
so you
tons
want to
of them here. Yep.
But from a general consumer standpoint, this latest generation, especially of your core goodies, are really making a huge difference, and people are enjoying all of these aspects.
And what got a lot of good press is this new quick sync technology. So that allows you to do the transcoding of video, which you guys, obviously, I see video cameras all over here.
Oh, yeah.
That's big for you guys because you can take your video to any format, and it's accelerated up to, 5, 10x on the new Core 2 generation.
Yeah, Chris used to just go to lunch when he was waiting for videos to render and stuff. Now he just...
And dinner.
And dinner, exactly. Now he just taps it, and we're good to go with the box machine that he's doing it with and so forth.
Yeah.
A lot of excitement, certainly here at the Game Developers Conference from a gaming perspective. And here in the Intel booth, you guys are showing a lot of really cool things, including some of those very popular games that people are seeing almost in a whole new way.
Yep, exactly.
That they may not have been used to playing.
And here the big play is really the developer, focusing on the developer. We have an entire Visual Adrenaline program where developers can sign up, thousands around the world, to help tune their applications, optimize for the graphics that Intel offers these days. And for the CPU as well, right? It's a two-sided story. You got to optimize for the core of the CPU as well as the Intel graphics.
And to have multiple brains being able to help you play or develop games has got to make the developer community real happy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. Speaking of making people real happy, Thunderbolt. I mean, let's talk about, first of all, what is Thunderbolt and why are so many people saying, gotta have it, how quick?
Yeah, exactly. So I was involved in the Thunderbolt launch last week. We had one of our smaller customers named Apple joining us.
A smaller customer, yeah. Yeah, they also had some big announcement across the street here.
Yeah, they're busy these days. But they've been a great partner. This was originally codenamed Light Peak. So if you guys were at IDF in the past, you remember Light Peak was supposed to be, 10 times faster than USB 2 and FireWire, and this great new revolutionary connector. And so it's been branded Thunderbolt. So that was the former codename Light Peak, and Apple is the first one to bring it to market, and they have products out in the market now. And I think you've probably seen some of their MacBook Pros with this connector. And the beauty of the Thunderbolt connector is it can do multiple standards on the same cable. So you could run USB 3, you could do DisplayPort, all on the same cable at the same time.
Well, it's sort of like computing's HDMI, I guess, because it does a
analogy.
lot at the same time.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
Anything, it's basically a PCI Express controller on each end. So any protocol that can go over PCI Express, USB, SATA, DisplayPort can be passed through this cable.
And 10 times faster than we're used to has got to help solve a lot of problems.
Oh, yeah. So it's 10 gigabits, and when you look at USB 2, that was in the range of, 600 to 800 megabits. So, I mean, you're doing a huge leap.
So now folks are going to avoid USB 3 and just hang in there for Thunderbolt?
Well, this is meant to be complementary, and as I mentioned, you can run both standards on the same protocol.
Okay.
So you could have the reason why Apple likes it so much and a lot of the OEMs like it so much is it simplifies the connectors so much. You know, we've all got, I'm looking at the side of your notebook here, you know, VGA, USB, mouse ports. This is a cable simplification thing that really, really does a great job at it.
Yeah, and as you say, the whole idea of being able to run so many things on that one cable, speed is just one of the major advantages.
Exactly. And it's not limited to Apple, so they're the first one to market, but kind of like MacBook Air, when we had that new processor package for the real thin notebook, we will work with any and every OEM who's interested in working with us.
Good. Unlike the iPhone exclusivity for 5 years with AT&T kind of things, Apple can't have it only.
Right.
So they got it first.
Right.
But everybody else can do. And I'm assuming there are PC manufacturers in the Windows world of things that are right up there saying, okay, next, we got to have it.
And they're totally compatible with it. Yep.
Good. Terrific. Well, what else has got you pumped these days around the Intel hallways?
Well, I just think that the Sandy Bridge processor launched the second-gen core graphics. Thunderbolt has been really exciting. I mean, anytime you have Apple involved with you in a launch, there's a special magic around it.
Sure.
It's just how Apple works. You know, I don't know how they do it. Their PR people, you know, their Starbucks just tastes better than mine.
Yeah. Good way to put it. It's an interesting analogy.
So I just think that Thunderbolt thing with Apple, it just goes to show when such a high-profile customer is excited about something that it's really quite an endorsement.
Well, Dan, always a pleasure to have you with us at any show and from any broadcast area and on the phone periodically, whatever we need to do to make sure we get some updates from you. We'll clear the path to get some more of not only Intel partners on, but a lot of other exhibitors here at the Game Developers Conference and talk more from the Intel exhibit. Thanks for putting up with us.
Thank you, guys.
Dan Snyder with Intel, of course, Intel.com for more, and we'll link you there when you hit us up at intotomorrow.com.